What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, man. You already know it's your boy Trevio, Trillionaire Hustle, helping you build that financial muscle, man. So check this out today, right? Today we're gonna talk about what everybody loves to talk about. It's Bitcoin, of course, Bitcoin, man. So check this out, right? Now, why the Bitcoin is one of the most unstable things, but yet so much people would have jumped in it because it is a form of currency that is not regulated by the government, right? Now, there's good and bads that come with it not being regulated by the government, guys. Hey, before I even continue, like, subscribe, comment down below, share this channel with your people, man. About to drop some jewels on y'all today, man. Or you might agree, you might not agree. Whatever I say in this channel or these videos are just my opinion. My opinion. Before you do any investments, before you go off what I say, please do your research. Please fact check me. And if anybody can enlighten me on anything that I'm saying, comment down below. You know what it is, man. But anyway, so check this out, right? So Bitcoin is unstable because there is no true business backing behind it. That's just my opinion. There's nothing solid backing behind Bitcoin, right? So what happens is when our markets are unstable and we feel like we are in an unstable environment, people look for a different source, so they go jump to Bitcoin, right? And when the market, and being that it's so iffy, when the market is back, when the market has stabilized itself back, right? People are okay, maybe we're not going to completely crash and burn. And so let me take my money out this risky investment, which is Bitcoin, and put it over here and back to the stable market, right? But now, the problem is, well, it's not a problem. The thing is that when you put too much of your money in a risky environment like that, you become nervous, right? That means you're unsure of what will happen next. And granted, you could be unsure with everything in the market, but being that it's not backed by a business, you're way more unsure. This is why I always say, if you've been watching my videos, if you're going to invest in Bitcoin, do I have Bitcoin? Yes. But the amount that I have in Bitcoin is not going to really kill me. The amount I have in Bitcoin is not really going to kill me if it goes completely kaput and I lose all that money I have in Bitcoin. Because out of my whole investment portfolio, I have between 5 to 10% in Bitcoin. That's it. That means, for those of y'all, just to break it down, right? If I have, if I have $1,000 invested in the market, I do not have more than $50 to $100 in Bitcoin. If I have $10,000 invested in the market, I do not have more than $500 to $1,000 invested in Bitcoin. That is how I attack something like cryptocurrency, something that is unstable like that. Granted, I feel like for me to put more money in Bitcoin, I have to put more money in the real market behind solid businesses. So that way, if I lose my money in Bitcoin, I can counter those losses with the good investments that I've made, and that's how I'm gonna get my money back. I'm gonna take a little hit, but I know that money's gonna come back through the solid businesses. That's my whole thing, right? Now, I hate to make this video political, but when you're talking about stocks are intertwined with politics, because certain laws get passed for certain companies to do certain things. That creates more opportunities for certain businesses, which makes the price go up, which makes the business being able to operate at a better, with better efficiency to make more money. So that way the business is more free to operate in Rome, meaning they can make more money. And that's how, politics affect your stock prices. Now, one thing about the US government, as much as I hate to make this video political, is that the US don't like it when they can't participate. You know what I mean? And you got to respect it. You live on their soil, in their country. That's a whole different story for a different day. But in the context of what we speaking on, you live in their country and on their soil, right? So that means you got to play by their rules. And the US is the ultimate. It ain't no fun if the government can't get none. It is what it is, right? We seen they did this with what? Prohibition. Back in the the 20s and 30s, the US was going into like economic slump. The stock market had completely crashed or whatever, and they decided to make alcohol legal but tax it, right? So they could make money off of it, meaning that now that I get some, now it's fun for everybody, right? But before that, alcohol could have got you locked up, could have got you mad time in jail. But If the U.S. could get some, now it's fun. If the U.S. can't get none, it ain't no fun. If the government can't get none, it ain't no fun. So now they legalize alcohol, right? Boom. They get their tax cut off of it and everything is cool. Now, what happened in the 60s and 70s when Las Vegas started booming, when all of these mobsters went to Las Vegas and created this, basically America's playland in Vegas, right? The U.S. was like, a lot of money's being made over there. It ain't no fun if the government can't get none, right? So magically, all of these mobsters that was running all of these casinos, all of that stuff in Vegas, magically, they started dying and the U.S. started taking control. The U.S. started taking control of all the casinos in Vegas, which is why even casinos to this day, anywhere you put up a casino, is very regulated and they pay a lot of taxes. Why? Because the U.S. want piece of the cut, and you gotta respect it. You gotta respect it. You know what I mean? If you don't want to respect it, then don't play that game. It is what it is. Me, I'm a person that understands the rules of the game, and then I go and play the game. It is what it is. Right? So they see in the casinos in the 60s and 70s, all these monsters making all this money, boop, boop, boop. So they was like, you know what? We want some of that action. So they took some of that action, right? And they regulated it. They started charging crazy taxes on it, which is why even right now, when you win crazy money in the lottery or gambling, you got to pay your taxes. The U.S., you know what I mean? You got to pay the government its piece. It is what it is, right? So now I feel like what's going on with Bitcoin is that, I say all that to bring this to Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes up and down, up and down, up and down, but it's another source of income that the government could use to basically put a tax on it, and they can make money for every time you do a Bitcoin transaction. That's why our president, I'm not going to say his name because I don't want anything to happen to my video, but our president is trying to regulate Bitcoin. It's going to be very hard to regulate Bitcoin because of how Bitcoin operates as its own entity and how it just does its own thing, right? In the blockchain, it's a whole different story for a different day for me to explain it, but I have previous videos explaining how Bitcoin works and what it actually is, right? But nonetheless, they want to regulate it. They want to, if all of the presidents of all the countries around the world get together and agree and say, hey, we're going to regulate Bitcoin, we have no choice but just to take the L and let them regulate Bitcoin. So people be trying to fight against certain things. Like, bro, you're not going to win that fight. You feel me? That's like, I mean, you're not going to win that fight. You're just not going to happen. But I feel like Bitcoin is going to go back up. It's an unstable investment, but if governments decides to if governments decide to regulate Bitcoin, meaning that any transaction, that's all regulation means to me. I know I'm a simple man. I break stuff down to the simplest form. If they decide to regulate it, that means that every time you do a Bitcoin transaction, they want to see the transaction, they want to know what's going on, and then when they cut it to action, they want their taxes off of it. It is what it is. So, but in my opinion, if they do regulate it, that automatically says that Bitcoin is a real entity. So they might be thinking they're going to be doing us a disservice by adding taxes on Bitcoin. But in my opinion, this is just my humble personal opinion, them regulating it might actually help Bitcoin, because now the government stands behind Bitcoin. They're saying that, yes, it is a real thing, and if any transaction happen, we want piece of the action. That makes this thing very valuable. Now that, in my opinion, that makes Bitcoin now very valuable. So don't be so angry that they want to regulate it. I hope they don't. I hope it keeps doing its own thing, because I do see the value in it. But at the same time, if they do regulate it, I think it's going to help Bitcoin more than it hurts Bitcoin. Because, yeah, we're going to pay a little bit of taxes on the Bitcoin, but in the long run, that means the government stands behind Bitcoin. And that makes it valuable, because now we have something solid that we trust that stands behind Bitcoin. That's just my 2 cents on what's been going on with Bitcoin and how it could probably turn around. But I do believe it will turn around. I do believe you should invest in Bitcoin, but I just don't believe you should throw all your money in Bitcoin. Like I said, man, if you have $10,000 invested in the market, between $500 to $1,000 should be in Bitcoin. Like if you have if you have $100,000 invested in the stock market, now obviously that's between $5,000 to $10,000 in Bitcoin. If you want to put more money in Bitcoin, worry about solid investments first. Things that are solid, that would definitely bring you back an income, solid businesses of things you use that are real solid businesses. Invest in those first, and then put the little extra change in Bitcoin and some a little bit of money in Bitcoin. That way, if you were to completely lose that and it goes kaput, your real solid investments could counter those losses. Like, subscribe, comment down below, share this channel with your people, man. Catch me on the next one. I'm gone.